Richard Carapaz, our much-adored king of the minions, couldn't believe the news. Kevin Pozo, a compatriot of his and a young promise of the team of the Ecuadorian champion Jonathan Narvaez, left us 2 days ago after suffering an accident in the Andean province of Imbabura. A real misfortune that must be added to the fates of Michele Scarponi and David Rebellin, who left us in similar circumstances in recent years. Kevin Pozo, rest in peace. This video is dedicated to you. Now, not far from Ecuador, in Colombia, controversy has arisen over a new episode of the podcast of British mummies, Geraint Thomas and Luke Rowe. These two geniuses, world-renowned clairvoyants as they are, blame the alarming drop in the level of the Ineos team on its former leader, Egan Bernal. According to Thomas and Rowe, Sir David Brailsford's team has not been able to sign big stars because of the 4-year renewal they gave to the Colombian Bernal just before he suffered an accident, one which almost killed him. Pointing to the salary of the Colombian champion of the 2019 Tour de France and the 2021 Giro d'Italia, €2.5 million. They say that has prevented the bald knight Brailsford from signing important pedalists, unlike teams such as Visma or UAE Team Emirates. To hold that point of view, you have to be a wretch, or a liar, or both. From here, we can only remind the Welsh alcoholic Thomas that he alone, at 38 years of age, still earns more than €3 million per annum, and his performance in the last 2 years can be summarised by podium finishes in the Giro d'Italia, the last of them being more than 10 minutes behind the Slovenian alien winner. We can also recall that the new star of the team, Carlos Rodriguez Cano, is earning precisely €2.5 million. That was the salary that Sir David of Brailsfordshire paid him to renew in 2024. And we could also recall that Tom Pidcock, or Tiny Tim as he might prefer to be known, the man who spends much of the year injured and training in Girona, and then flies like a rocket in certain races, well, he earns more than €2.7 million per year. And so you can see it's not that Ineos has no money, it's one of the teams with the biggest budgets in the World Tour, but simply it's signed some real damp squibs like Tymon Arensman or Tobias Foss, and it still has in its ranks some dinosaurs like Thomas himself, or Michal Kwiatkowski, or Jonathan Castroviejo, Salvatore Puccio, Elia Viviani, or indeed the 41-year-old Cameron Wurf. That roster of riders could be the main problem of the team, rather than the contract of Eganito Bernal, who was the star of the team until he suffered an accident. And perhaps he suffered that accident because the team allowed him to train in Colombia instead of insisting in safer environments in Europe. Subscribe to the channel if you agree with this point of view, and also you could follow us on our personal Twitter, @UncleCycling. That way you'll know all the news about cycling before anyone else. Now, yes, let's get on to the main course, the Zurich 2024 Time Trial World Championships. It's funny how this event, now in its 30th year of existence, was dominated by some real dirty dopers between 1996 and 2005, with hilarious winners including Alex Zuller, Laurent Jalabert, Jan Ullrich, Michael Rogers, Santiago Botero, or David Miller. The latter the only champion to have his title stripped for doping. That despite being coached by the king of marginal gains, a certain knight of Brailsfordshire. Since then, despite the fact that there have been winners like Fabian Cancellara, Bradley Wiggins or Vasil Kirienka, all of them accused of doping or motor doping or even retiring for freak heart conditions, although none of them tested positive in any competition, this has to be the best sign for cycling, at least for many fans who we could charitably describe as naive, if not imbeciles. It's laughable, to say the least. Now, something that hasn't changed and won't change are the lousy decisions of Selfie Lepation, a guy who's chosen Rwanda to host the 2025 World Championships. We can see that this year's course, 41 kilometres in length, a shameful distance for the World Championships, has also been criticised severely by several of the riders who've observed the course in situ in recent days. One of them, the always hard-working João Almeida, said that it's a very dangerous route with many potholes and blind curves and too many tricky downhills that make it a maze, a labyrinth created by the UCI. Another rider, the European champion Edoardo Affini, he didn't hesitate to say that ideally the riders should have taken another route instead of the one chosen by Le Partillon. He said that there are so many beautiful roads in Switzerland, so why are they taking on a crappy section of asphalt with so many dangerous descents? Affini himself insisted that he was not going to risk anything more than necessary to win on such a course. But then the main favourite, Focus in Evenepoel, who recently showed us on his YouTube channel his eating routine, which has nothing to do with the Pizza Hut he advertises, he's criticised the route of these World Time Trial Championships too. Evenepoel, who criticised the organisation of the Tour de Suisse after the death of Gino Mader on the descents of mountain passes, this time he's criticised a descent full of blind curves that are too steep, especially with speeds that could exceed 90 km per hour. For a fearful, nervous man like Focusin, who suffered some horrors after his crash at the 2020 Giro di Lombardia, this could represent the point where he loses the rainbow jersey that he's supposed to defend. Would he even make it to the finish line? Stay until the end of the video to find out. The day's action began with Grace Brown's hilarious victory in the women's time trial. The Australian Française des Jeux rider achieved, at the tender age of 32, a historic, unprecedented triple in the history of cycling, winning Liège, the Olympic time trial, and the World Time Trial Championships in the same year. Coincidentally, the same year that she retires, thus imitating great stars of the past such as Florence Griffith Joyner after Seoul in 1988, or Lance Armstrong after the Tour de France 2005, or indeed the racewalker Alvaro Martin after Paris 2024. It's as good a way as any to avoid the inconvenience of anti-doping controls in the future, and that applies to anyone, including someone from the country where the new substance with which cyclists are doping today originates. A substance that we told you all about, exclusively, yesterday. Now, as for the men's competition, it was shaping up to be the classic we've come to expect, with Ghanaian cyclists of 50 years of age, or indeed cyclists for the Olympic refugee team, racing for the glory of the future candidate for the Olympic presidency, Selfie Le Partillon. But nevertheless, there were two major disappointments. The first involved the very strange, inconsistent local rider, Stefan Bissegger, a cyclist capable of performing brilliantly when totally injured, as at the Paris Olympics earlier this year, but then swinging in completely the other direction. For here, riders like the Colombian, who was of the same team as Coconut Oil Lopez, Walter Vargas, or the son of the Trap, the Spaniard Raul Garcia Piana, well, they ended up surpassing him with ease. The second disappointment was much more notable, for it involved the Slovenian skier Primoz Roglic, who, despite being presented as one of the favourites, from the start he performed well below his usual level, and it seems that he cannot regain his top level of form after winning that Vuelta a España. Now he will surely have to swallow his words that he was not going to work for his alien compatriot in next Sunday's road race. Now, the first big hitter to reach the finish line was the Dane, because he is always a Dane, Kasper Asgreen, a guy who usually performs very well at the World Championships, and he logged a time of 54.5 minutes, an excellent time in fact. He was soon overtaken by the course-critical European champion, Edoardo Affini, who took one or two risks despite his rather timorous statements about the course. And thanks to a magnificent descent, he managed to beat the Dane by 34 seconds. The Italian is having the month of his life, with his double title as European champion and now the best time in the World Championships. Pedalists like the local Stefan Kuhn with his classic performance in this type of championship, or indeed the crybaby Josh Tarling, who was blubbing that a time trial has exceeded 40 kilometres for the first time in his cycling life, well, they were behind the Italian rider. And then someone who could, or should have beaten him, the video game rider Jay Vine, who must have been eager to pay homage to Grace, well, he fell again for the umpteenth time this season, proving that the Zwift is not the same as real life. But behind him, there were still two monsters to come. The first of them, the hour record holder, Filippo Ganna. The Sky Rider showed Thomas and Rowe that, in Italy, the country of Andrea Piccolo, they still know how to handle good material, and he made a historic overtaking of the Slovenian skier when crossing the finish line, placing him with the best time. Incredible, but true, Italian cycling against the clock placed its two monsters of 1.9 metres in height as the first two in a world championship with a rather mountainous course. And in fact, the only reason they didn't win the gold is because of that steep terrain. That was where the champion focusing Evenepoel achieved his biggest advantage over Ganna. And he did so after one of his classic customary annoyances to which we have grown ever so fond whenever he wears the Belgian jersey. After a chain jump at the start of the race, he went so far as to punch a TV cameraman, proving that his Ritalin dosage was at its fizzing peak. And then his almost perfect posture on the time trial bike and his oh-so-steady pedalling took him to glory, albeit only 6 seconds ahead of the first of the two Italians who would surround him on the final podium. Oh, the TUE does wonders for this little monster. And he's already now a triple world champion and a double Olympic champion. The second person to win the world time trial and the Olympic time trial in the same year. So it only remains for us to congratulate you, Focusing, and we hope now that you can storm the rainbow jersey in the road race in 7 days' time. Oh, that would be oh so exciting. Make sure that you, dear viewers, subscribe to the channel so that you can watch it with us.